All right. I really want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend today's webinar. My name is Kevin Casey, and I'm a product and workflow consultant here at collagesNet, and I will be hosting the webinar today along with a very special guest, Ross. Ross Bothwell is located in Denver, Colorado, and is also our Denver class leader. Ross, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I am good. Thanks for having me, Kevin. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. All right, awesome. Yeah, we are happy to have you on board. So before we actually jump into the webinar, just go over a few things as far as our agenda for today. As you'll notice, Ross is going to be talking a lot about how to keep your photography business organized. Some topics that we're touching on are folder structure, improving your workflow, seeing where you can really cater to your strengths. We know that as a photographer, you do have a lot more strengths than most people do with the business. And also one important part is outsourcing when necessary. So finding areas that could really help improve, once again, going back to number 2, really improve your workflow. Real quick, also before I pass the torch on to Ross, I just want to go over a few basic features of the webinar software. As you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, there's a small window that you see on my screen. And this is part of the webinar program. If at any time you need to maximize or minimize this window, feel free to click the orange arrow found right here, and that will minimize it for you. And if you need to maximize it or to bring it back to ask a question, feel free to click that orange arrow again. Any questions that you do have through the webinar, I do ask that you type them in through the questions field using the chat feature. This way we can continue and let Ross get through most of the points he has. We will be talking very briefly with Ross throughout the webinar, asking or answering any questions. But then we're also at the very end going to have another live Q&A session where we'll pass questions on to Ross. So without further ado, I am going to pass things on to Ross, and I'll let you take it away.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. So basically, thanks for attending today's webinar. I wanted to talk to you guys all about staying organized, and I'm going to get up my presentation up here in a minute. That just closed out on me. And most everything I'm going to be talking about as far as staying organized, I'm going to talk about having the folder structures and file structures done. I'm not going to really talk about a whole lot about staying organized with your office. Basically, this is just to make it easier for organization as far as running your business, finding your photos. I'm going to go over some Lightroom tips and things like that of little things that we can do. If you have any questions, type them in. If it, as Kevin said, if it's pertinent, he will try to get to me so I can answer it, but we can always come back. So just a little bit about myself. It's my wife and I, Cammie, who do the business. We've been photographers out here in Colorado since 1999. We've been full-time photographers since 2001. We have gradually found and defined our roles in the business and fallen into it quite nicely. We have 3 kids. Now I'll have to give them a little props right here. Here's our 3 kids. We just had a baby girl this past January. I'm going to show you that. And then I'll just go into this. This is one of my best quotes as far as being self-employed. You have to wear so many hats when you're self-employed. It's hard to say no to clients. Sometimes you have longer hours than most, but what I want to try to go over today is how to minimize that, get you on a schedule and organized as far as doing that. So we do work out of our house. We have a basement studio that we work out. We finish the whole basement. This is our little client area meeting where we meet with clients. And we have people come to us, and we don't have the overhead of having a retail studio. So over here, this picture right here, this is my favorite tax write-off that I have. This is our home theater where we do release parties for our clients, have them up, have some drinks, have some food, and let them see their pictures and wedding photos on the big screen for the first time. And then you can see the door out into our little meeting area. So keys to getting organized. I'm going to go over just kind of the basics of what I'll be touching on, and then we'll go into each segment one by one. The biggest thing that I found is stop the repetition. Stop the typing in of all the emails over and over and over and over. So we'll go into email folder structures and how to do that. Finding your strengths and defining your roles. So I want you guys to find what you're good at, concentrate on that, where you can actually free up your time to concentrate on promoting your business, getting more business, networking, and passing off everything else that is your weakest point. We're also going to go over forms and folders and filing, so pretty much everything on the computer that you're going to need or in the office. So we'll kind of touch base on that a little bit too. We're going to go into setting up your workspace. I'll go over that. I'm going to go into a little bit of after capture workflow, some of the important steps that a lot of photographers don't get to do, or actually don't do, that they really should do. And then I'm going to go into a couple of little details about 4 little things of making Lightroom work for you, setting it up so it's kind of automated for you guys. So finding your strengths and defining your roles. As I said, my wife and I kind of fell into our own little pattern of figuring that out ourselves. It just kind of came naturally for us. So I pretty much do all the editing and color correcting. My wife is great with marketing and advertising and album design, where, you know, if you open up a blank slate in Photoshop for me to design an album, I'm just stuck in a rut, and my wife Cammie does a fabulous job with that. You know, who's better at sales? If you have more than one person in your business, is that something that you can do or your spouse can do? I do all the blogging, and then again I pass the torch on to the bookkeeping of my wife, which is super important. So here's a little mock-up of kind of things that my wife and I do. So we both do the photography. So my wife photographs weddings with me. I photograph weddings, and I also photograph high school seniors and babies and maternity, and we try to keep her at home much as possible with our kids. As I said, I do all the editing and the color correcting. I do the sales. I meet with the clients. I do all the blogging, the phone calls, the email interactions, and then I am also the spender in the relationship, where my wife is the non-spender in the relationship. So she tends to keep me in check. So as I said, my wife, she photographs weddings with me. She does all the bookkeeping, the design, album design, graphic design, cards, things like that. She takes care of payroll. She's the mother to our children, and she's a wife to me, so she's busy with that, and we want to kind of limit her role in the business so she can attend to the kids and be the mom that she wants to be. So if those are your strengths, and definitely you can outsource lots of things. There's online orders. All my online orders go through Collages, and they fulfill my orders for me, so it's just something I don't even have to think about. The only thing I get to think about is printing out the receipt of the check that comes into my bank account from online orders. SEO, so Collage is going to be doing our SEO, so I'm really super excited about that, so I don't have to worry about that. Now we do outsource our taxes. We got a great accountant that has helped us out. Books are so important, so I encourage everybody to jump ship of trying to do it yourself and figuring it out yourself, and hire a professional to take care of that for you. Automatic emails, I have that set up through ShootQ, which I'll touch on later. It just saves so much time, even though it's not really outsourced, but it is set up where I don't even have to think about it. It goes out in my workflow with ShootQ. And then if we're swamped, we do outsource our album design. So I know a lot of photographers will use color correction services to help them color their images and color correct and do that. If you have the money and you've built it in the price, I definitely encourage that for you guys too. Let's move on to the next slide real quick. The most important thing in this business, besides the artwork, is obviously the money and running it sound. So as I touched on earlier, finding yourself a great accountant is just pertinent. We were sole proprietorship for so long. I was using Quicken, doing it all myself, and thought it was the greatest thing. We lined ourselves up with a fabulous photographer who turned us into an S-Corp. A lot more paperwork to go through, a lot more entering with all your receipts and filing and payroll and stuff like that. But the first year, it saved us over $12,000. So definitely take advantage of going out there and finding a great accountant that will work with you, that knows the ins and outs of the photography business and can help you out and make you have the best amount of money possible for your business. Definitely business credit cards and debit cards. So many photographers, I know him and haw about using it or not. It's a great way to increase your sales when people can charge it instead of writing a check or having cash. I definitely encourage anybody and everybody to be able to accept those. Now with today's features, if you have an iPad or an iPhone, I think it's square.com has a great feature where you can swipe a credit card right there on the spot. The client can sign it and go straight to your account. So there's a lot of alternatives out there these days. out there on the web to find. Setting up QuickBooks, having your books meticulously organized is just crucial. Not only does it save you time and money, but being able to go back and look, hey, where were we this last year with bookings for the next year on retainers, or is my pricing structure working? Am I getting add-on sales? Being able to see those reports is crucial to your business, where you can actually go in there and find out what you need to tweak to make your business more successful. If you're losing money in a certain product or setting it up, definitely set up QuickBooks. And you can do that free through PPA. They have a chart of accounts that will get you started. Like every software, it's kind of expensive to get into, but if you can set it up and get it right, it just makes your world a lot easier, and to be able to track those numbers is just crucial for your business. And religiously reconcile your credit cards and bank statements. Again, my wife does all this, thank goodness, because I probably have a pile at the end of the year and say, oh my gosh, I need to get my taxes done, which I know we've all been in that boat, and getting extensions. So definitely try to set that up for once a month if you do have an office schedule, and we'll touch on that too. Set that up where you do it. When you're an S Corp, you actually have to do that once a month and file your payroll and your unemployment tax. But it gets you in that system of doing it every month, and you can actually see where your business is and see what's coming in. So if you need to make purchases or save for the future or buy some equipment, you have all that information right there with QuickBooks. And then folders for paperwork and receipt filing. We just keep a little drawer right here where we drop in all the receipts. My wife knows where they are. She can come into the office anytime and just type away into QuickBooks. So I'm going to get into folders, forms, and filings as far as setting up your computer. And we'll start with folders for your computer. So I make folders for pretty much everything. So I have client folders by the year of all my clients. So I have this on a server, and I'll talk to you and show you about that later as we move on. I have album folders. So all the album designs that my wife does, we put them in one location. We don't put album designs or card designs in the client folders just for the simple fact, if we want to say somebody's in here, oh, I really love the sample that you have of this card, I kind of want this, we can just go and show them all of our designs or all of our card samples to kind of give them an idea, and they're all in one location. Also good for the iPad, which I'll talk about on iDevices. So I keep a vendor folder. Every year I go through all my list of who I've worked with over the year. So whether it's florists or caterers or venues, and I just, as throughout the year, I just keep on loading the vendor pictures that I've worked with, and at the end of the year, I send them DVDs of their images that they can use on the promotional material. So separate folder for that. I do a marketing folder as well. So all the marketing pieces that we've designed. So whether it's for advertising or Facebook ads, online ads, anything like that. If we've created certain things for certain venues, we keep all our marketing in one spot. And I actually do it by the year instead. So I break it down marketing folder and then have another subfolder in there, 2010, 2011, 2012, things like that. I also do a downloads folder. So any software that I purchase online, I always put that in there. So if ever I need to find it again, it's always in one section. So any templates or anything like that, software, whether it's Capture One or Photo One or any of those kind of software, I put them in one folder. And then I do a Photoshop folder. So any brushes, templates, backgrounds, flourishes, anything like that goes in there. And in that Photoshop folder, and I'll show you guys in just a second, I have subfolders of everything in there where I can find it. It's on a server. My wife works upstairs. She can take a look at it and find it, and it's just easy and organized where we can all get to it no matter where we're at. Next, I have a PDF folder. So all the PDFs that I create and send to clients that I use constantly, I just keep it in one folder in one location so I can send it to my clients real quick. I also have an ideas folder. So if there's places or ideas that I've wanted to always photograph that or seeing something like that, it's like, oh, I want to try this one day, or with Pinterest is great now, so you can keep them all in one spot. But I also have an ideas folder. And I have a letters and stationery folder, so all my templates for my letters and stationery, letterhead, stuff like that, I keep that in there. And then slideshows that I build over the years or website folders, so all the pictures that I'm using for that slideshow for that personal year. I'm creating a slideshow for my home theater for presentations of potential clients coming in, I keep them all in one folder so I can go back and see what I've used and change it, or if I need to add it again, and then a website folder. So this is what my folder structure looks like right now. We have this drive on my main server partitioned right now. So as you see in here, I have 2009 weddings, 2010 clients. We have a separate brand for seniors that we call Roca Studios, so I keep all my seniors separate from my portrait and my wedding clients. Here's all our client cards that we've done for 2011. Here's all our 2011 clients and our seniors for 2011. All easy where I can find it. It's clean. I don't need to worry about trying to dig through. So I also have all my blog borders that I used to use, all my easy-to-access PDF folders for clients, event cards that we use to do slideshows the day of the wedding. So there's templates in there that my wife can look at and quickly grab. I also have all my lab templates. So if we have a certain dimension that we need to design for a card or for an album, they're all right in there. And then, of course, we back up our QuickBooks regularly. And then folder structure and file structure as far as naming the clients and after capture workflow, I'll get into in just a little bit. But as you can see, I do mine numerically by the date, weddings, engagements, newborns, age, he was 7 months old, day after sessions, but I do it all by the date, so it's easy to find. So this is kind of what, if you're a PC user and you're used to folders and don't like the Mac look, this is what it looks like just for the PC users. So here's my folder structure once again. Let me turn that off. Why is that happening? Excuse me, guys. There we go. So and as far as when it comes to ordering, as I said, I use collages to do my online orders. So when I go into Rows and it asks me to find the folders, it tells me what picture to look for. So I can go to my clients. I can find this engagement session on 5/7/11. It's in my JPEG folder. And then I go in there, and then all my pictures are named Lisa and Anthony engagement and numerically. So that kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like through that. So as I said when I was talking about all the folders that I create on my server, I keep all my Photoshop on our Time Machine, so which is a Mac product for external hard drive. So these are all my Photoshop folders. I love all the products that are out there, whether it's the Solis or the V-Gallery stuff or Jen's Fabulous stuff, but I keep them all in separate folders when I've purchased them. So I have one main Photoshop folder, and this was excuse me for stuttering there. So here's card templates. So if I wanted to look in card templates, I would go into card templates, and here I would have other templates. So these are all my accordion wallets. These are all the birth announcements and children's cards, or bookmarks, business cards, Christmas cards, and then if I go in there, they'd have different designs, and then I would go by sizes as well. Also, my Photoshop folder, here's a sample of all my backgrounds for design. So it's easy to find for my wife if she's designing a baby announcement and she doesn't want to use her template. She wants to use something else for herself. It's easy to find. She can go through there, scroll through the thumbnails, and pick which one she wants. So I also have on my email account, we set up email folders. And what we do, I keep an email folder for all my website inquiries that I pop in. I've kind of slacked off lately on this since I've been using ShootQ for the last 2 years on storing my email and my correspondence. But when I purchase software online or I sign up for a new vendor, I put all my passwords and all my software codes in one email folder where I can find it. Sure, I could type in the search box, but I just like it there nice and neat, and I know everything in there. If I need to get online and order something, I can find my code to log in. If I am reinstalling software, I have the key that I can just type in and find it right there quickly on the spot. So I also have an online receipts folder. So I put all my receipts of all my purchases online. Of course, I print them out and put them in the receipt box for my wife to put in QuickBooks. But it allows me to search if I need it real quickly. So if somebody says, hey, when did you purchase this? Or I'm trying to get a key for it or anything like that. Any vendors that I work with, I email them, I let them know I'm sending pictures, and I just put all my email confirmations in one spot. So I have a name and a contact, and I can actually see who I'm working with if I need to go back, and I've worked at another wedding with them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here's the flowers from this wedding. I can go back and see their name, or if it's with a hotel and I need to see who was the catering manager, I can go back and see that. So I keep those all in one spot. Any emails that I send, I CC myself and put them in another folder, just so I can have it and have the correspondence. So that's just me. That's just my personality to do that. And then I also organize my emails by the year. And the reason we do it, it started off, we started up with AOL back in the years of dial-up. And if your email box got full, you'd have to create another folder. So it just kind of started that way and carried over to using a Mac. And so I organize all my emails by year, so I can kind of just go through and see. So forms. Let's get into forms real quick as far as setting up different forms and things like that. So I've created forms for pretty much anything, but also with ShootQ coming into play and the online technology that's out there, I'm not using a lot of them, but I still use a client worksheet. So my client worksheet is basically a details day timeline of the wedding, who their vendors are. I want to know everybody I'm working with so I can get them photos, who their family members are. I need to know the family dynamics. Are there any divorcees or deceased members? Do step-parents not get along with the other parents, the remarried parents? So I want to go over that in the timeline, and I keep everything on there. People that give out their DVDs, and we give out our images on the flash drive when their contract's complete, we have a permission to print form that we give them. We also give them release forms. We call them DVD release forms, but now we're using flash drives for it. But the DVD release form, which I'll show here in just a minute, is basically just protection to let them know they need to back up their images. We are not going to store their images on our hard drive forever. We have no long-term plans for storage, so make sure they back it up. They have 2 weeks to back up their images and make sure they're good. I mean, I still have wedding photos from 2002, 2001 backed up on a hard drive, so we're safe there. But I want to protect our business and protect us if they come back 20 years from now and say, do you have our images? So we want to make sure they do that. The photo checklist is kind of what goes along with the client worksheet I talked about. And then we have an album order form that we do, so we can see what the clients want for their albums. So saving time and money in a couple of trees, creating PDFs for everything you use frequently. So if you send pricing guides, create a PDF for that so you can send it through email so they can see it. If you have different pricing for your seniors or different products, create these PDFs. We actually create PDFs of Christmas card samples so they can go through the PDF and see the samples that they can get. And then once they see it, then we can get it. It makes it a lot easier for them. As I talked about, pricing forms, order forms, album forms, letters, etc. We create PDFs for all those. I know some photographers do the Acrobat Pro, where you can make them fill it out online, which is great, but we don't do that, but that is out there. So here's some of my frequent PDFs that I use. Here's our wedding guide right over here that we send to our clients, about 16 pages. It talks about hiring a photographer, our prices, our products, everything's in here. Here's a PDF for our holiday card designs that we send out over the years. So it just lets them know different types of designs that they can get. And basically these are pre-bought templates that we've bought from other vendors, and it's been a great selling tool for us. We also have a separate portrait guide. And then here's our card binder, and that's all cards. So that includes baby announcements, graduation cards, everything that we have. Here's our DVD release form that I was talking about, permission to print. We give them instructions if they get a signature frame or they get a signature book. It tells them where to buy the pens and what to do and how to care for it. And then the U Plus Us guide is another PDF that we've done. It was a template that I bought from, I believe, Sarah Q. That just goes on, that I give to them after they've signed their contract. Goes about planning your engagement session, what to expect, how to plan your day for photography for weddings. So as I said, here's a copy of our DVD release form that we give to our clients. As I said, all the pictures on there are theirs to use to print and print only. They cannot use them for advertising. They cannot use them for anything else but printing and sharing on Facebook. So it kind of protects us. So if anybody wants to see this later on, let me know, and I can share it with you guys. Reprint order forms. There are some parents that do not like to order online or struggle with ordering online, but we still have this from the golden days, and this is what we created for for our clients to order reprints. Pretty much we push everybody to order their online prints through collages, just to make our lives simpler, and we don't have to deal with packaging and shipping and ordering it. So, but we do still offer it for those that don't want to. So as far as workspace, I'm going to just touch a bit on the office. We don't have one of those glorious, nice-looking offices that you're going to see on Pinterest. It's just, I'm a guy, and it's me, but this is what our office looks like. I got filing cabinets. We got 2 desks. My wife works over here. Now she's upstairs since we have the new little one and kind of stays upstairs, and my little desk is over here. And we have our little shipping table. So it's kind of raw, but it works for us. It's not a nice and pretty little, astoundingly pretty office. Here's the back view of the office just to kind of show you what it looks like. Another way to help out and be successful is creating an office work schedule timeline to kind of stay on if you can. I try to do that. I do get dragged into Facebook and Pinterest quite a bit, so if I'm waiting for something to upload or export, I kind of drift away. But trying to create this will definitely help your workflow. So on Monday, I take my kids to school, I read the news, have my cup of coffee, and then I try to start by 10 o'clock. From 10 to 11, I return any emails and phone calls that are necessary. Then from 11 and 12, I work on anything that's marketing relating, any marketing I want to work on for thank you cards to clients, prints for vendors or anything like that. And then from 12 to 4, I'm working on client photos, blogs, any kind of orders that need fulfilling or things like that. And then 4 to 5, I return any phone calls or emails. Pretty much do the same thing every day. Wednesday, I don't do anything at night. I have softball, so that's me time. And I do softball from February until October, so I don't schedule engagement sessions. I don't schedule portrait sessions, so I do have that myself. And then on Friday, just to show you that, I return my emails and phone calls. And then from 11 to 4, I want to do anything that can't be done over the weekend. So if I need to correspond with somebody over and let them know, hey, I got weddings this weekend, I'll get in touch with you Monday or take care of the order and I'll touch base with you. I kind of do that. Of course, setting up a file cabinet, client folders where you put your contracts, DVDs, order forms, anything like that you want to put in. I do a vendor folder. So when I go to WPPI or imaging and come home with all the album companies, the catalogs, and the brochures, I kind of have a vendor folder of that. So just things I'm going to use and have their catalogs so I can find them quickly instead of just going through a big stack of paperwork. So I kind of organize all those there. My client checklists go into a separate folder. My completed contracts go in a separate folder. Again, not using that as much anymore since we are using ShootQ for that. So it kind of takes the paper trail away a little bit. I also print out all the software that I've used or purchased online, print out the licenses and passwords, and keep those in one folder too. So if I ever need anything and I can't get on or I want something to go, I have the paper version of it as well. Love magazines, love reading articles, inspirational ideas, anything like that. I'll kind of tear them out, any inspiration stuff, and put in a little folder that maybe I'll look at during the off season. And of course, all our mailing labels that we will put in a folder from our release forms. Here's just our little file cabinet right up top, or I should say little hanging file folders. So we put all our incoming mail right here so we can look at it. We have all our invoices, our album orders, and we have albums that are at the lab and stuff like that. Hung that on the wall, just got it at Office Max. Let me get to the next slide. So recycle. We recycle as much as we can in the house. I know it sounds kind of green and trendy right now, but we recycle the boxes and I reuse them for shipping. I reuse them all the time. Probably the biggest pain that I hate is peeling off the shipping labels from UPS or FedEx because they never come off in one piece and you're just taking at it for a while. But reuse it. We don't have to purchase them. We keep them, and we have a nice little spot for them. We recycle and reuse all the peanuts in the cardboard. We have a little spot for them. So if there's maybe an 8x10 flat cardboard folder box that comes with the order, we put that on the side, and if we need to cut it down to ship some 5x7s or anything like that, we do that. We recycle all our mail, our order forms, our info sheets, anything we're not using anymore, and then we recycle our ink. If you recycle your ink, there are certain computers or printers out there. If you go to Office Max, you'll get a free ream of paper every time you bring in ink. So our cabinet is full of computer paper because we don't have to purchase it anymore, but we got a plethora of it. And then we recycle all our shredded paper in our magazines and take them up to the recycling center. We just went and bought a little tote at Walmart, Target, whatever, and we put all our peanuts in there as packages come in. And come the holiday time when we have tons of orders, this thing's empty, and then next year we kind of start the cycle over again.